When we talk about faith, it's often easy to keep it confined to the walls of a church or the pages of a Bible. But true faith is much more than belief, it's action. It's stepping out of your comfort zone to serve others, reflecting God's love through your deeds, and in doing so, growing spiritually while creating ripples of positivity in the world around you. Volunteering in your community is one of the most profound ways to live out your faith, and today, I want to share how serving others has shaped my life and deepened my connection to God. Why is serving others important? The Bible teaches us repeatedly about the importance of serving others. In Mark chapter 10 verse 45, Jesus himself says, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." If our Lord and Savior, the ultimate example of love and humility, dedicated his life to serving others, then we, as his followers, are called to do the same. Serving others is more than just a nice gesture. It's a tangible expression of God's love in action. When we help those in need, whether it's feeding the hungry, comforting the lonely, or mentoring the youth, we become vessels of grace. Each act of kindness becomes a reflection of the divine, showing people that they are seen, valued, and loved, not just by us, but by God himself. My experiences with volunteering feeding the homeless. One of my earliest and most humbling volunteer experiences was at a local homeless shelter. At first, I wasn't sure what to expect. I wondered if my small efforts, serving meals, cleaning up, and having short conversations, could really make a difference. But as I spent time with the people there, I realized that my presence alone mattered. One man told me, "It's not just the food, it's the fact that someone cares enough to show up." That moment hit me hard. It wasn't about the grand gestures or solving the bigger issue of homelessness overnight. It was about being the hands and feet of Jesus, bringing a glimmer of hope and dignity to someone's day. Mentoring young adults later, I had the opportunity to volunteer as a mentor for young adults in a community program. Many of these teens came from broken homes or faced challenges I couldn't even imagine. Through weekly sessions, I shared practical life skills, encouragement, and, most importantly, a listening ear. There was one young man I'll never forget. He struggled with self-worth and didn't believe he had a future. Through months of mentorship, I saw his confidence grow. Watching him graduate from high school and pursue his dreams was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. It reminded me that God works through us to inspire hope in others. Disaster relief work. I also had the privilege of volunteering with disaster relief organizations. After a devastating hurricane, our team traveled to a hard-hit area to help rebuild homes and distribute supplies. Amid the rubble and despair, there was an undeniable sense of community and resilience. People who had lost everything still found ways to smile, and their gratitude for our efforts was humbling. One woman, whose home we helped rebuild, shared that she had prayed for a sign of hope, and our team's arrival felt like an answered prayer. That experience taught me that when we serve others, we not only bless them but also become part of God's plan in ways we can't always see. How acts of kindness reflect God's love. In Matthew chapter 25 verse 40, Jesus says, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Every time we serve someone, no matter how small the act, we're serving God. Acts of kindness are like seeds planted in the hearts of others. Even if we don't see the immediate fruit, God is working behind the scenes. Volunteering allows us to step into someone else's shoes and show compassion. It's a way to break down barriers, foster understanding, and remind people that they are not alone. When we show up for others, we reflect God's unconditional love, a love that doesn't discriminate, doesn't judge, and doesn't expect anything in return. Spiritual growth through volunteering. Serving others isn't just about helping those in need, it's also about transforming your own heart. Here are a few ways volunteering has helped me grow spiritually. Humility. Volunteering reminds me that life isn't about me. It shifts my focus from my own problems to the needs of others. In doing so, I've learned to rely on God's strength rather than my own. Gratitude. Serving those who have less than I do has opened my eyes to the countless blessings in my life. It's helped me develop a heart of gratitude, even in difficult seasons. Faith in action. Volunteering has shown me that faith isn't just about words, it's about deeds. As James chapter 2 verse 17 says, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. Each act of service deepens my understanding of what it means to live out my faith. Deeper connection with God. When I serve others, I feel closer to God. It's in those moments, when I'm washing dishes in a soup kitchen or hammering nails at a construction site, that I feel His presence most profoundly. Serving becomes an act of worship, a way to honor Him with my time and energy. Making a positive difference. One of the most beautiful aspects of volunteering is the ripple effect it creates. A single act of kindness can inspire others to do the same, creating a chain reaction of love and positivity. The small things add up. Whether it's smiling at a stranger, donating to a food bank, or dedicating your weekends to a local cause, each effort contributes to building a better world. How you can start volunteering. If you're ready to put your faith into action but aren't sure where to start, here are a few ideas. Identify your passions. What causes resonate with you? Whether it's helping the homeless, supporting children, or caring for the environment, find something that aligns with your heart. Research opportunities. Look for local organizations, churches, or community groups that need volunteers. Many non-profits welcome help in a variety of roles. Start small. You don't have to commit to a huge project right away. Even a few hours a month can make a difference. Pray for guidance. Ask God to lead you to the right opportunities and give you the strength to serve with a joyful heart. Overcoming challenges in volunteering. While volunteering is immensely rewarding, it's not always easy. There are times when the work feels overwhelming, or the impact seems small in the face of enormous challenges. But it's in these moments that faith plays a critical role. Staying committed. I remember one particularly difficult day while helping at a disaster relief site. The heat was oppressive, and progress felt painfully slow. At one point, I wondered, is this really worth it? But then I reminded myself of Galatians chapter 6 verse 9, which says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." That verse became my anchor. I realized that volunteering isn't about immediate results, it's about trusting God to use my efforts in ways I may never fully understand. Facing emotional challenges. Volunteering can also be emotionally draining. When you see people in deep pain or struggle, it's natural to feel helpless. During my time at a hospice center, I often felt overwhelmed by the weight of the suffering I witnessed. But through prayer and reflection, I learned to surrender those feelings to God. Instead of focusing on what I couldn't do, I focused on what I could, offering comfort, compassion, and presence. Balancing life and service. Another challenge is balancing volunteering with other responsibilities. Many of us lead busy lives, juggling work, family, and personal commitments. I've found that even small acts of service, like making a meal for a neighbor or writing an encouraging note, can make a difference. Serving doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be heartfelt. Stories of transformation. One of the most inspiring aspects of volunteering is witnessing the transformations that occur, not just in the people you serve but also in yourself and your community. Here are a few stories that have stayed with me. A community united in one neighborhood I volunteered in. A group of residents came together to clean up a neglected park. What started as a simple beautification project turned into something much bigger. People who had never spoken to one another began forming connections, sharing stories, and collaborating on future projects. That park became a symbol of what's possible when people come together for a common purpose. Healing through service. Another unforgettable story comes from a friend who joined me in volunteering at a youth center. She was going through a tough time in her personal life, struggling with loss and feeling disconnected from her faith. But as she began mentoring young girls, she found healing in their laughter, resilience, and hope. She often said, "I thought I was here to help them, but they ended up helping me." Faith Restored. One man I met during a food drive shared how he had given up on faith after years of hardship. But seeing people dedicate their time and resources to helping strangers renewed his belief in God. "You showed me that love is still real," he said, tears in his eyes. That moment reminded me that our actions, no matter how small, can reignite faith in others. The ripple effect of kindness. One of the most beautiful aspects of serving is how it inspires others to do the same. A single act of kindness can multiply in ways we may never see. For example, a simple donation to a school supply drive might enable a child to succeed in school, grow into a confident adult, and eventually pay it forward by helping others. The ripples extend far beyond what we can imagine. When we serve others, we become part of a larger story, God's story. Each act of kindness is like a page in a book, weaving together a narrative of hope, redemption, and love. How volunteering brings us closer to God. One of the most profound lessons I've learned through volunteering is that it brings us closer to God. When we serve, we're following Jesus' example, stepping into his ministry of compassion and healing. Here's how. We see God in others. Serving allows us to see the divine spark in every person we encounter. Whether it's the homeless man on the street or the child in a classroom, we're reminded that every individual is created in God's image. We rely on God's strength. Volunteering often pushes us beyond our comfort zones. It's in those moments of uncertainty or exhaustion that we learn to rely on God's strength rather than our own. We experience God's joy. There's a unique joy that comes from giving selflessly. It's a joy that transcends material rewards and connects us to something greater than ourselves. We witness miracles. When we serve, we often witness God's hand at work, in a life transformed, a prayer answered, or a moment of unexpected grace. Your invitation to serve. As we wrap up, I want to extend a challenge to you. Take the first step towards serving others. It doesn't have to be big or perfect. Maybe it's offering to babysit for a tired parent, donating clothes to a shelter, or simply listening to someone who needs to talk. Whatever it is, do it with love and a heart of gratitude. Remember, volunteering isn't just about what you give, it's about what you gain. It's about growing closer to God, finding purpose, and making a difference that echoes into eternity. In a world that often feels divided and chaotic, serving others is a powerful way to bring light and love. It's a way to embody your faith, grow spiritually, and make a lasting impact on the lives of those around you. Every small act of kindness is a step toward building a better, more compassionate world. So, how will you put your faith into action today? Let me know in the comments, and let's inspire one another to serve with joy and purpose. Together, we can reflect God's love and create a legacy of kindness that will outlast us all. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you as you step out in faith to serve others. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on faith, service, and spiritual growth. Let's continue this journey together.